Hi, my loves. Come sit down, come have a seat with me. As you guys already know, this is Safe Space, where all things are welcome to be discussed. And the whole point of this is to build, not just destroy. Okay? It's Sapphire. So, I have a few brief questions for you guys before I lead into what we're going to be discussing today. And as you guys know, the last YouTube episode was about how silence isn't weakness, right? So that's the first building block that you're going to use to learn to keep your peace. Now, the secondary part is let them misunderstand you, right? And so you have to question, right now, think how many people you feel like actually get you. People you feel like actually genuinely get you. And they say a lot of the times the people who know you best understand you when you're silent. Like, they notice the silence, they notice the gap, they will notice the space. And so for me, it's like, okay, in my hand, I want to say about 3 people for me at most. And that's just like me highly putting in energy to believe that. But all people understanding you in silence is also gonna lead into understanding for yourself that you don't have to explain your silence either. And remember, last episode we discussed how being silent is not a bad thing, but a literal choice and a power move in dynamics. So with that, sit back, and today we're going to discuss what it means to let them misunderstand you. When we're younger, we are raised to, have that I love you, you love me mindset mixed with like, oh, I'm going to try and make as many friends today as possible. Like, you remember being a kid and everyone's like taught to be kind and you're introduced to the class and stuff like that. And then there's some of us that grew up with that mindset and were raised in households that, prioritize kindness and stuff like that. But my family also prioritized autonomy as well as understanding that it is okay to be yourself. Now, a lot of people function through this life and have felt like no matter where they go or who they're around, there's no central ground of understanding. Like, you can be in a room full of family members who you were raised with and still feel kind of isolated and alone. And that is the case for a lot of people. And as you get older, you'll start to see like that there's a separation. And like, even at a young age, you'll notice that being the weird kid is a problem, or being an outcast is considered a problem. Like, and even the adults in your life around you will sometimes like join in on, picking at you for your certain behaviors. And are some things worthy of being in need of being changed? Yeah, definitely. Strongly believe it. Some things are. Other things, though, that are like significant to you as an individual and are like true personality traits that you feel like make you in a good form of like individuality, no, don't go for it. Like, I know it sounds like crazy advice for dry skin, so put my Vaseline on. But there are also some adults out there as well that will live to, make sure you use this as well, humble you. Or they will see a light in you and aim to put that shit out, right? And a lot of these adults will walk around being like, oh, and a lot of times they'd be like fake kind, right? They're kind to the average individual. Then it's like the longer you sit around them, the more you start to unpack, like, this person does not care for me as an individual, and they actually find the things that I do to be a nuisance, even though the things that you are doing to others may be like a big no-no, are actually helping and protecting a certain form of your autonomy. And I've had this happen to me with plenty of adults, right? especially growing up in the circumstances that I did. This is the thing. The end goal of life for you as an individual should be to make you happy and satisfy you. When you are younger, you will often hear people call you selfish. And as you start to transition into your older years, you will understand that sometimes being selfish is not a bad thing. Like, it's good to be selfish. And it's good to have your own individuality and stand by yourself. Because people are nosy. And a lot of the times, they want to get around you, see what your life is like, and see what it's about. So they have more stuff to add or to say to what they believe they know about you, right? And so when you start to encounter people who are aiming to misunderstand you, or they are already deciding in their head or mapping out who they believe you are or what potential you have, let them. And the reason you let them do that is because a lot of the times the conversations that need to be had, or the people who are meant to hear them, will hear you the first time, even if you say nothing. Because a lot of people that you surround yourself with, their end goal is to make themselves happy, right? And so internally making themselves happy, they don't really care about who gets harmed in between, what lies come out, how other people handle it, etc., because it's not them dealing with it. So because they're not the ones dealing with it, they don't really care who's right and who's wrong, just as long as it's a certain level of entertainment for them. And with that, you have to understand that any interaction of space with you is a privilege. When you start to view yourself, right, if you were to view yourself as an object of value, because being around your light and energy is important, right? You will then start to learn that a big portion of protecting that energy is 1, silence, and 2, keeping your distance, and 3, learning the value of self. Learning the value of self will skip past a lot of things. So when you learn the value of self and you're just like, I'm valuable, you wake up and you start saying to yourself, I'm valuable, my business is valuable, what I do is valuable to somebody, right? And because of that, and you start to separate and distance yourself from other people and be quiet, you will start to notice how many people try to flock into orbiting your energy space. And what will happen is, in the silence, it'll go from, because a lot of people like to pretend like you're the worst person in the world, but they're really like fans. They're like, oh, I'm sick of this bitch, I don't like this bitch, da-da-da-da, right? And then you go silent, right? And you stop talking to everybody and you start gatekeeping for yourself what you're doing and actually enjoying life, because people can't ruin what they don't know about. They will start to then try to channel your energy. They'll start to watching and consuming you, right? They're like, I wonder what this girl is doing. I wonder what da-da-da. So the energy of you is valuable, and that's why it's important to also understand that you as an individual, naturally speaking, have value. And they'll go from that to trying to psychoanalyze and get to know you from an outside perspective, right? And so darkness makes people blind, right? And so what they'll start to do is assume that the version of you that is curated online, and when I say curated, some people really do post their natural everyday life. I don't know. This is social media, so in my opinion, everybody only really posts their highlights or their lowest vibrational moments for moments of attractive traction. So they'll start to create fake scenarios in their own head about you as an individual based on the things that you do, where you go, what you say, who you hang around. And that's why who you hang around is also important. And that's another reason why I'm very big on don't post everything. Do not post everything, because everything is not for everybody. Not for everybody to know or see. So, with that being said, and this is the thing, people from that, like, silence in you, like, living your own bubble and space and doing whatever you want to do, will then start to create, like, fake beef in their own head with you. Like, that, or they'll create a certain level of anger towards you because you're in a certain position of life, or what they're viewing your life as is like, oh my God, I can't believe that this person is able to either obtain these things or do these things without the power of needing help, or this, that, and next. Especially if you're younger than the person that you feel like is definitely lurking, because you guys got to become very self-aware to understand, like, there is a different energy behind someone who is viewing you and someone who is lurking and someone who is watching and waiting, right? And you'll see this shit happen on social media in real time, where, like, you'll get into it with one person, right, on social media, and then it will be people who you've seen on your page who actively definitely are, like, on your, like, For You page, right? They'll be up underneath the post, interacting with, ha-haing, hearting to something that has to do with you that is negative fast, right? But they'll never pop up in your regular likes. They'll never share your stuff, but they'll still be your friend on social media because, like I said, the proximity to you is valuable, right? And my thing for me and for anyone else is that when you feel like you're encountering these kinds of people, understand and trust in yourself enough to know this is what's happening, and 2, remove them from your space, right? Because I feel like if you are waiting for a moment to have a ha-ha or hee-hee about me, you've been waiting for any little thing at any little moment to have a chance to discuss me, talk about me, or feel like, oh, I know this person enough to know, like, this is the weird shit she would do, or da-da-da-da, right? And when you see that kind of stuff happening, especially when it comes to, like, smear campaigns or weird shit on social media, be very cautious as to who pops out and starts talking to you. Anybody who just randomly starts talking to you, like, even if they're like, oh, I'm on your side, da-da-da, a lot of times what they're doing is they want a deeper inside scoop because you don't have it on your social media to get a full roundabout of the story, then go run their mouth and go tell somebody else what they think they know about you, right? And that's why silence is power, and that's why it's important to be very, 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 so it's very serious to be skeptical of who and what you allow and what you bring around. So, when you see something crazy happen on your social media, and I'm going to say this right now, the best time to see who and how you need to maneuver is when something crazy happens to you on social media, a certain level of falling out. Because the part that people will hate to admit is that true feelings come to surface out of, like, emotional people, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Accept it. That's the real life of criticism. But as I was explaining to you how proximity is energy and a certain level of value, that's why it's very important to cut people off and also not allow certain things to leak out of your boat, because people will feel like they know you because of proximity, run with whatever narrative they have, and try and use that to a kiki with somebody else, right? So, when crazy stuff happens to you online and it's a situation of like, oh, I heard that you did this, that, to the next, and la 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 la. The best response, and this is gonna be so hard for, like, a lot of people to understand. And this is what I'm saying, like, when you think about who really understands you in your life, and that listening ears become running mouths. So that's even a little bit more something you got to be cautious of. And I say that to say because one moment somebody be cool with you, the next they not. So when it comes to finding someone who understands you, it's got to be someone who is like real life, ride or die for you, knows your heart even when you're quiet and shit like that. Because like I said, listening ear is a running mouth. And this is why it's important, like, to seriously vet people before you start calling them your best friend and stuff like that. Like, I have one friend of mine that I am really, really close with. I've been friends with her for 13 years. And when I say that girl knows my heart inside and out, and I'm able to have a moment with her and tell her whatever it is that is bothering me or what is going on or what's wrong, and she understands. But even then, in some levels of clarity, I've learned to keep certain things to myself and also pray about it. Like, praying about it honestly does a lot for me and does a lot for you as an individual who is trying to create trust and a bond within yourself and with God, is because he won't ever forsake you, okay? So whatever you tell him, he ain't gonna go run into the next person to tell them that. Like, that's not how it works. So when stuff like that happens on like social media, and we're talking about serious smear campaigns, serious lies being told for like the gag and sensation of the internet, to feel like, oh my God, I know her, I know that she does this, that, to the next, like certain levels of proximity being like formed and manipulated, the best response is no response. And that is so hard for a lot of people to get, and this is why silence is so important. And let them believe whatever they want to believe. And the reason why I'm saying let them believe whatever they want to believe, because you know you. And anybody who actually genuinely cares to know you as an individual and wants to get to know you as an individual, even down to a guy that likes you, will not care about your past. Will not care about your past. Will not care what people say. He's gonna enjoy genuinely getting to know you. Same with friends. They're gonna want to get to know you and experience you for themselves. Okay? So it's like, no fallout, no matter who the person is. I don't give a fuck if it's your sister. Really is gonna affect the change and transition of your life, unless you allow it to. Okay? So the people who will be there for you will be there for you. The people you're supposed to fall out with, you will fall out with. Like, none of that will ever change. And so the bigger portion of like understanding yourself and identity is like letting them misunderstand you. Because when you vibrate and you do the things for you that are for you, and this is why it's okay to be selfish, you're going to meet the people that are for you in the time and space that is for you. And that helps you become more productive in what you want in life and not what everybody else wants in life, right? And it's gonna cost you. Oh, trust me, it's gonna cost you. You'd be surprised. And it's gonna cost you, because if you want something in life, does not mean the person that is next to you currently wants that. And that's where like you will begin to outgrow people. You will start to see certain friendships and dynamics as things that weigh you down instead of actually lifting you up or putting you closer to the places and spaces that you need to be. And you will then learn to move accordingly. And with learning to move accordingly and letting narratives run and feeding them no energy and power, because remember, proximity to you or the ability to say, hey, I know this person is value. Right? That shit will get you further than sometimes cash does. That's why they say like networking is more important sometimes for some people's career than the actual schooling in college was. Okay? But here's the thing. Like, constantly explaining yourself is like a form of expression of trauma. Like, the belief that nobody's gonna believe you, or, oh, I'm explaining because I don't want to seem like a liar. And this is the thing, like, even when you're talking to people regularly, right, and say you call someone on the phone and you talking to this person about something and you can tell that this person is not listening to you, or they're just saying and agreeing with you and not hearing shit that you're saying, that's because you're having a conversation with somebody who was not supposed to hear you in the first place, right? Like, that, like, high key is protection. Like, if you're having a conversation with somebody and they are, like, not hearing what you're saying, step back and evaluate, like, was this person really supposed to hear what I'm saying? Like, even if it's a life lesson, because people go through stuff on their own based on their own choice of actions, right? Not what you tell them or this, that, to the next. Like, you don't control nothing but you in this lifetime. Which, in some cases of life, that sucks that you can only control you, but this is the reality of it, right? And this is the thing, too. Don't sit up here going back and forth online, explaining yourself to nobody, because the people who know you will know. She probably wouldn't do that, especially if it's a spear campaign. And this is the thing. Let people misunderstand you, okay? Because you can sit up here, you can give 10,000 speeches, and then you got 10 bitches who still want to, oh, she was wrong because of this, she was wrong because of that, da 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 da. They're going to find any reason to find you wrong because it was already in their thought process to never understand you. So then you find yourself wasting time to reiterate some stuff to some people who lack a certain level of understanding. And this is another thing too. People can only mentally meet you where they are at. So, like, and this is the thing. Like, even in relationships, if you feel like the person that you with can't listen to you, they don't understand, it's because people can only meet you where they are at. Like, and when I say that, it's gonna go over some people's head and some of you are gonna get it. If you went through certain phases of life already, or certain developmental growth stages of life already, it is very hard to be in a space dating someone who hasn't, right? So levels of certain experiences happen and certain things will happen, and for them it's just they're looking at you like, yo, this person is just bugging, but to you it's like, I've already lived and experienced this, so, like, you should listen to me. And this is another thing. Don't date people who have you out here repeating yourself 2 and 3 times. At that point, it's begging. And either they understand you and they don't care to hear you, or they don't understand you and they aren't for you. You need to go find somebody who's on your level of mental thinking. If they're not on your, like, either they misunderstood you or they understand you and just don't give a fuck, and you need to get up out of that space anyways, because you need to find somebody that is either at your thinking skill level, advanced, or mental capacity, because if not, your life will then start to become stagnant, and it will become stagnant based on the phase of whatever life that person that you're dating that has, like, no serious development, like character development, is at. And for girlies especially, that is not it. To be dating a man who is stuck in a certain phase of life that you're already surpassed is not only going to stunt your growth as an individual overall, and this goes out to men as well, but it's going to ruin so many other things that could be flourishing in your life for you to meet the people that will understand you and meet your tribe in this lifetime. Because a lot of people will spend a lot of their lifetime wasting it. They will waste a lot of their life trying to be a people pleaser through being understood. And by the time they finally come to the realization that they gotta live for themselves, a lot of the times these motherfuckers be in their, like, 40s and 50s, and they be miserable and hating and mad as fuck at the young people who already get it. And that's why I'm saying to you, like, don't stay in spaces or waste your time explaining to people the things in which you know are destined and meant for you. Let them misunderstand, because a lot of people are gonna go, yeah, okay, all right, whatever, and they laugh at you, or they will ask you progressively information about you, but then will turn around and speak dirt on the things in which you want to have in this lifetime. Like, I tell people all the time, I'm gonna be famous, I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna be that, because I know I'm special. I feel that, I understand that, and it's for me to understand because God gave it to me, and I don't explain any further or furthermore, even when they try to challenge it. Like, I then trust and I believe in myself that the things that I want in this lifetime are possible, and because of that, it causes a higher level of faith and thinking when I'm thinking and talking to God, which brings me a certain level of clarity. And in that certain level of clarity, I'm able to get things done. I'm able to think bigger, express bigger. So it's like, you wasted time explaining to a bunch of people who don't have what you have, don't live the life circumstances that you live, or even care to understand where you're coming from. Because a lot of people want an explanation for the drama and the tea and the gag of it, to then turn around and still talk down about what made you choose what you did or what choices you made in life, knowing that they'll never ever experience the things that you're going through or the same walk, so they will never be able to understand or comprehend why you got to where you're at or why you came to the conclusion to do what you did. Like, that's just the reality of it. Like, everybody wants to play perfect. And by skipping over explaining stuff to people and blocking and deleting and ignoring certain shit that people post or say about you online, one, makes everybody look more into, I wonder what this person is doing and I wonder who she is, blah, 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 blah. Right? Which then, like, this is a certain level of, I guess, what people call alchemy or whatever. And like I said, we on this channel, we use even our disadvantages to our advantage. Yes, we do. Because we want to be famous, we want to be rich, we want to have the money, we want to have the life. And you don't get the life by wallowing in shit and, oh, well, this negativity is making me that. No. This negativity is putting me on the front of a lot of people's brains that I don't even know. And now they're going to be encaptured in, like, trying to get to know who I am, because proximity and energy is valuable. So they want to assess and want to get to know me. So it's like, and why do they want to get to know you? Say it with me, y'all. Because you are quiet. And the things that you are doing and showcasing are, like I said, social media is for what? The highlights of your life. So then people are like, oh, I wonder what this person's doing. Such and such said this about them, right? And this right here is how you become legendary, because people will be talking about you. Your name will be in rooms. You can't control that you aren't even around. And in that little group of, like, people that are huddling around to smear campaign you, they all are aware that either the person you're beefing with is a weird bitch, or they are aware that you are better than what the hell they are talking about on social media. And like I said, nothing you do is going to stop the people that are for you in life from coming to you. So that means when they post about you and they say the crazy stuff, what are we going to do? Let them. Because why? We're going to let them misunderstand. Because the nature of human nature is people are going to look for understanding and explanation and things that they're fascinated about. You keep being you. You keep being the baby that you know you are. You keep being the quiet, I pop out when I feel like it, not because another person says so. Now I'm flooding the energy space to give you energy that makes you feel important, like you control the traffic over here. You don't. Like, you gonna let somebody who you don't like be like, oh, I told her to jump and that silly bitch jumped. You gonna do that? No. You're gonna ignore her bitch ass because her life is already going downhill, and you're gonna do whatever you want to do. And if you choose to respond to it in your own time. But even then, you say nothing, right? By the time you think you want to respond to it, because people move on low vibrational energy, and just some other dumb shit probably been already happened to the goofy who you having a problem with, or you just gotta sometimes look at the source and say, without my energy, without my response, this bitch don't mean nothing to nobody. Like, she entertaining for the moment, but she not gonna be who they give a fuck about in 2 days. And then what she'll start doing is dragging it on social media, and then everybody starts to see the level of obsession that person has with you. And it's like, now it starts making everybody question, like, I wonder what the heck this person's doing, right? And it just keeps you on the front of everybody's brain. And that keeps you making money, keeps you being noticed, and keeps you being a bad bitch in the media. Like, this is what we're living for. The thing, would you rather be the one that's getting talked about or the one that's doing the talking? Because if you're just the one that's doing the talking your whole life, basically your popularity, any energy that comes towards you is only comes towards you because of the individual that you're talking about. Like, literally, you're only becoming popular off of me. Like, that's a whole different power dynamic. Like, when you talk about yourself, we're not here for it. Like, imagine that your media presence only exists in the space of, like, talking about somebody else. You're only intriguing when you talk about somebody else. People come to your page because you talking about somebody else. That's weird. And so, like, as you start to move into a higher, happier space, it's like, I'm not finna be over here talking about nobody but me, worried about me. And when you learn to block the bullshit and you go on with the thing, would you rather be the one that's getting talked about or the one that's doing the talking? Because if you're just the one that's doing the talking your whole life, basically, your popularity, any energy that comes towards you is only comes towards you because of the individual that you're talking about. Like, literally, you're only becoming popular off of me. Like, that's a whole different power dynamic. Like, when you talk about yourself, we're not here for it. Like, imagine that your media presence only exists in the space of, like, talking about somebody else. You're only intriguing when you talk about somebody else. People come to your page because you talking about somebody else. That's weird. And so, like, as you start to move into a higher, happier space, it's like, I'm not finna be over here talking about nobody but me, worried about me. And when you learn to block the bullshit and you go on with when you surround yourself with people who really care about you and want to see you go to places they want to see you go and want better for you in your life and understand you, even if it's by yourself, you, while they're still talking about you, will be moving on with the next hot topic, next hot thing for your life to showcase and do for the world. And they will have nothing to say other than, I was screaming at this girl repeatedly and getting no response, like a crazy stalking, harassing individual that I am. And for that to be the only thing your life mounts to be is crazy and diabolical. And then on top of that, it's like the people that know you and love and care about you and know your heart, they're not going to want to see that shit either. So then all of y'all just start blocking it and start going on about your life and living every day how it is, because before you know it, on the media, it'll be something else on the feed that people are feeding into frenzying for, because people are fake and wishy-washy. But you need to stand solid with you because you understand you. And that's what is important. With these serious levels of, like, preservation and staying away from people, it will attract more people to you, period, because you are going to be pouring into yourself. And when you love yourself and you take care of yourself, the world knows. The world sees it. They see it, they hate it, and they're going to keep trying to poke and prod because they want to get something out of you. Now, I'm going to give you guys a story time and understanding of what I mean by this in about 5 seconds. And it'll be probably after I get off of work. So yeah, this is the first half of the video. And since I'm late, I decided that I'm going to make this episode a 2-for-1. So that basically one domino affects into the other. So that when you go back and you when you listen to, like, silence is not weakness, you can put together why letting someone misunderstanding you in the next leading up part, which is you need to let go of people that can only see and understand the old version of you and only keep bringing up the old version of you. And these 3 things in a domino effect will lead you into the next video, which I will be talking about at the end of this. But for right now, this is the ending of Let Them Misunderstand You. And I'm going to be doing a 2-for-1 special since I am late and you guys deserve it. I'm going to start speaking on why you need to let go of people who can only manage to hold on to the past versions of you. If they're only holding on to the past versions of you, you already know that's an issue, because the you now exists for a reason. So another reason in which why some people are understanding you, like misunderstanding you, is actually because they cannot grow with you. And when you start to outgrow people, a lot of times what they only hold on to and hang on to is the old version of you, which is why there can feel like there's a difficult ability to have the same language of conversation with someone. When you start to outgrow people, the conversations become very different. It's like one day you and this person were like, oh, always in sync, like, oh, this is what we're talking about, da da da. And then if one of you, like, says, you know what, I've actually outgrown this situation and thinking, style, I want to talk about this, that, to the next. It is very hard for someone to go from every day, this is what we talk about, this is what we chat about, this is the norms of us, to switching up the flow. And some people will grow with you and outgrow it fast. Some people, and everybody's growing at their own pace. There's like no true scale or definition of like what it means to be a 26-year-old, right? Like, my version of 26 is not going to be somebody else's version of 26 and vice versa. But when you grow up with people, and I don't know if you guys remember me telling you this in the first episode, that titles lead to a certain level of entitlement. But when you have people positioned in your life a certain way, it is very, very hard for them to curate past just the usual flow of like certain dynamics and relationships in which you have with them. And you will first actually begin to realize like you and that person are no longer on the same vibration by the misunderstandings that you're having in conversations with them. You will go from being able to have a full-fledged conversation, probably hours on the phone in with them, to the point where it's like, bitch, it'll be like, bitch, you live like Ace Boon Coon. Like, what do you mean you're not getting? What are you not clocking? Right? And for some people, like, especially when we talk about like friendship breakups, it's so fucking hard, and it's heartbreaking in different forms. Like, I just experienced one, and I'm gonna give you some exemplar at the end of this video of what I mean by this. So, people who only are able to hold on to older versions of you, for one, will then try to exploit you as you grow out of it too as well. These are also the people that will like to pop up and purposely get into it with you, because it's like, oh, the version of you that I knew from high school was like this, that, to the next. And it's like, bitch, I don't give a fuck what I used to what I used to tolerate. Try me now. Try me now. And this is why, like, you also have to learn how to keep and hold silence, because some people's whole premise is to like beef with you as well, because of like the fact that you outgrew your past. Like, I tell people all the time, once, like, a lot of people will peak in high school and you will grow past and surpass them. If you are younger and you are watching this, I'm telling you this right now, like, the friendships that you think you have, you will outgrow. You may come out of maybe one or two real people in that situation, and then to get to college and have a friendship survive college from middle school, elementary, or high school is very, very little to none. Like, and if you do it, I have a few friends that I actually am like this with. The kind of bond and relationship that you have with those people is like very much for lifer. Like, very rare, but can happen. But what else I was trying to say is that everything you say is a curse. Yeah, so everything you say is a curse. You have the literal power of life and death in the tongue, right? And the Bible refers to that. But like, we need to start actually thinking of that on a deeper level. That's why we tell people, like, you gotta watch the things in which you say. Like, if you grew up in a black household, you already know, like, watching the things that you say, how you ward things onto yourself, you can have the power to like ward something on yourself. Like, that's why for me, I don't, like, what Dirk say, I could never play the dead man in the movie. Like, you never, like, certain things, like, don't play in wheelchairs or you'll end up in one, right? So that's the first thing. And secondly, like, people speak curses over your life all the time. Like, your family members, your mom or your father, like, oh, you ain't gonna be shit. Like, that's like really heavy to try and curse you, right? And the thing is like, everything is an energy transfer, right? And this is the part that's like really hard for some people to grasp too, when it comes to like people who want to beef with you, because men will literally pay women to talk to them, right? Because talking, anything like that, is energy. It's energy. Men will pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars for sex lines. Okay, let's be realistic here. So a man is gonna pay for energy. Imagine what your enemy will pay for just to be like, I could fuck with you. That's why, like I said before, you gotta know when to be quiet, because some people are sent to literally fuck with your energy. and they try and use your past against you. And the people who only can see the past version of you will, one, not understand the version of you that exists. They won't understand what it took for you to get there. And they will just be ready to ignite the versions of you that they know, to say, aha, this person hasn't changed. And that's what it is. A lot of people want that aha moment with you. And that's why it's important to what? Practice silence. Because, especially when people who don't like you and only thing they got on you is the old version of you, they be waiting for an update to say, like, you aren't who you say you are. And they be, like, itching and poking around and hear something crazy about you. Because for some reason it's way more believable. And that's why I said sometimes people purposely misunderstand you. Because what? The version of you that they want to believe already exists in their head for you. They've already believed that they calculated the measurement of who you're going to become, right? And this is true for a lot of people that have peaked in high school and then don't go nowhere else. Anybody else who has something going on with their life or doing something with their life will understand what I'm saying when I say this. The people who only know the past version of you will only bring up the past version of you because that's the one that they're comfortable. So, yeah. And when you have people who constantly only can reconcile with the old version of you, even friends, you will begin to see you guys separate and grow distant from each other. And it won't be so fast to notice at first, but it will progressively start to happen. Like, y'all will just start getting into it about everything. Because when you grow past a certain phase, it's like your brain opens. And this is the, like, crazy part. When you become aware, it is impossible to become unaware. And it's hard for some people to, like, really understand or reconcile with that, and until they reach that level of awareness. And this is the thing, it's not on you to save them, look back and trying to tell them where they need to be focused in their life on. That's something they have to come to the conclusion on their own. And so when this, and you will begin to separate. And like, when it comes to friendship breakup on, like, levels of people are only aware of the old version of you, that means that they believe that you're going to keep tolerating or accepting certain stuff. And that's why when I said to you earlier about, like, letting them misunderstand you, that when you set a boundary, keep that boundary. Because especially for women, it is a lot easier for someone to coerce you into believing or doing something else. This includes friends as well. Like, friends will be the main ones because they only know the old version of you. They won't be accepting of, oh, she used to tolerate such and such. Why she act like she don't want to do this no more? Oh, she act like she too good for this or that. When you start waking yourself up to say, hey, this is beneath me, I really don't want to do this, da-da-da, you have every right to wake up and feel like that. Like, there is nothing wrong with that. When you start to progressively want change in your life, it's going to revolve around you letting things go. And that's why people say, like, before you get a seriously big blessing, you're going to lose something. Like, you're going to lose it to gain something else. Because even in levels of awareness, like the separation of, like, the old version of you versus the new version of you, you're going to let go of old habits. You're going to let go of old thinking processes. You're going to let go of old behaviors. You're going to learn new ones. You're going to accept new ones. And you're going to cause yourself to be in whole new environments. And this is the thing. If every time you look up, you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And this is where the misunderstandings start happening. When you are the smartest in the room, the richest in the room, the most of something in one room, everyone around you will start acting weird towards you. When we start talking about thinking and evolving, you should never be the most of anything in one room, right? And this is why, like, misunderstandings happen. And this is the thing too. When all these misunderstandings start happening, and like, I don't really feel like there's anything wrong with da-da-da, that's when you know you have, like, surpassed that area in your life. Like, that version of you is no longer starting to be able to vibrate on the same frequency as everyone that is in that area. Because it's like they kicking you off the level. Like, you will start arguing with people you was close to. Like, I know that sounds mad crazy. Like, if this was a game, you just gonna start, everybody gonna start mistreating you. You gonna start being able to recognize, like, this isn't normal, and evaluating it and changing up the circumstances of who you are, and what you're accepting of. And because of that, there's gonna always be a bunch of bumping heads and rebuttal. And that's going to be hard for some of y'all to really understand and reconcile it until it starts happening to you. So once you leveled up, you can't go back. You feel me? Everyone around you is going to start acting funny. That's why you can't be the most of anything in a room. You're going to be the most hated. That's what's going to happen, because you contain, or you have something that other people haven't been able to manage to obtain because they haven't worked towards it. And like I said, they only going to try and remind you of the old version of you. And a lot of it is humbling tactics. Like, and that's where we start having these issues of, like, jealousy, envy, all the stuff kicking up. And it's especially important that you stick to your guns, because, like I said, friends are the most influential. Like, I have my current situation and issue with my current friend, and I had to cut her off. And when you're dealing with someone who feels like all they can think of is the old version of you, that's the only version that they're going to be able to relate to. That's the only version that they think is going to exist. Because the old version of them is the only thing that they remember existing in a certain timeline that they feel like was the best version of them, right? And so when it comes to, like, people peaking in high school and not being able to obtain anything past that, it is very hard for them, because it's emotionally scarring for them to see that the world moves vastly forward without them, because they at some point in time believe the measurement of who they are was way bigger than everybody else's program. And as life moves forward, it is very hard for them to mentally grasp that. So because of that, that's why when we talk about, like, if you're fat and you get skinny and you start losing friends, or just you change your whole life around and you start going to church and you used to be a fighter, it's hard for people to, like, grasp that mentality. And so because of that, people will try to humble you back into a place that they know that you used to be. And it's going to take a lot of strength for yourself internally to also realize and validate yourself to say, hey, that is not me anymore. There's so much more to me than that. And it's going to hurt their heart and soul. And when it comes to your friends, it's going to be the hardest for them to grasp that you're changing. And because they feel as though they know you, they will try and also play on that, the belief that they know you. So for me, I recently had this situation happen, but in a different form and fashion. And when you start to level up, you start to, like, learn what not to tolerate. And this is what I'm saying. Levels of toleration also builds repertoire as well with people. So when someone goes to you, hey, the price of yesterday is not the price of today, they mean that. And there's nothing wrong with being that person that says that. There's nothing wrong with that. I need people to start actually, like, validating and hearing and saying that it is okay for you to look at somebody and go, that is not me anymore. And I'm not saying it in the manipulation tactics. I'm talking about in the sense of, like, growing up and changing. Like, hey, that's not me. Those are not the standards. My price of yesterday is not my price today. Like, I've changed. And because of that, some people will literally have a whole mental breakdown. And when it comes to your friends, it's going to be the hardest to, like, get that ideology shaped and pushed, because those are the people that for some reason feel like, oh, I know her already. I already know her enough to know that she's not going to do this, that, to the next. And it'd be so hard for them to believe, like, no, like, this portion of me has changed. Like, I'm not sticking with this program anymore. It's not working for me. It's not benefiting me. And I deserve more in life. And that's going to hurt their heart and soul. And you will start to learn that some people only respected the older version of you because it comforted them in a certain way to mistreat you, misdirect you, and everything else that they were doing beforehand that you were ignoring. So when you start to, like, level up and your brain starts to have a certain level of clarity and change, you will also see the shift of, like, dynamics of respect for you as well, because you're shifting the reality that they formed and felt comfortable with for a long time. And It means addressing the uncomfortable conversations. And those are the people that are going to last with you and are going to stay with you. And either they will learn to understand you, or they will misunderstand you to the point in which the version of you that existed before them will no longer be a friend of you, and you will no longer be a friend of them. And that's just how the circle of life moves you forward in elevation. Yeah. I recently had this situation happen with a friend of mine, and I'm going to be honest with you. This situation, if you want to be technical, that happened was not the first time that this initial situation that led to us falling out and not being as close anymore had happened. The difference is that my response to it is now changed versus how I was before the first time in which something like this had happened. And do I blame myself for that? No, you have to grow and you have to learn, and with growing and learning comes growing pains. And like, especially when it comes to like friendship breakups, it won't be the lies, it'll be the truth that hurts, because the truth is something you cannot run from. And because you're not running from the truth, and that the truth is what it is, it's nothing else in between, that like you can't even mentally grasp anything else but that. And when someone has been around you for a long time, like I said, they believe that they know you, and because they're so used to the old version of you, that when you start to change, it's going to actually set something off internally in them to be like, why isn't she accepting this? What? Oh my God, no, you used to be like this. Da, da, da. That does not mean that the change that you're having is wrong. It just means that your friend and you are separating. And sometimes friendships separate on happier notes simply because of outgrowing each other. And a lot of times, some bitches will claim it as beef. Who knows? But it's just, for me, I feel like for this dynamic in particular, it began with misunderstanding each other. And do I feel like we're purposely misunderstanding each other? No. I know for a fact this friend of mine is purposely misunderstanding me because of levels of comfort.
You ain't with the gossip. I don't fuck with group chats and TX. I don't fuck with group chats and TX.